It's a beautiful day out. Taking up smoking. Kind of a dirty habit. My wife always makes me smoke outside because, well, you know, it can be kind of stinky. So ever since we bought the house, my wife makes me come out here. Darn thing doesn't work anyway. Did you honestly think I was going to light this thing? I quit smoking 17 years ago. I'm talking about a different form of smoking. This kind of smoking. Nothing better than smoked meat coming out of the smoker. In there, I got some St. Louis style ribs. We're going to have those for supper. Come inside and I'll show you how we get them together. This recipe we're doing today comes out of Alton Brown's Everyday Cookbook for St. Louis ribs. Now the first thing we're going to do is start getting the ribs prepared. Right now I've got the smoker heating up. Aim this down a little bit. First thing we're going to do, this little piece right here is part of the diaphragm. I don't want that in there. So I'm going to take and cut this off. The next thing we're going to do, okay, I gotta turn that a little bit. The next thing we're going to do, grab yourself a paper towel. And there's a thin membrane on these ribs. Use the back of a spoon and start working that up. It might take you several. I guarantee you don't want to leave that on there with your ribs because it doesn't, pretty chewy stuff. So you can see we're tearing that off. Keep working that off. One time, I will give you some advice. One time I was in a hurry and I used this knife right here. Let's just say I earned myself a trip to the emergency room for 6 stitches. Cut myself right here on my knuckle. Do not use anything sharp to do this. You will be sorry if you did or do. This one is particularly tough. I will keep working on this. Okay, this rub mixture that he talks about is for 3 racks of ribs. I've got 4 racks of ribs, so I'm actually doubling this. So in the bowl of your favorite coffee grinder / spice grinder, put a tablespoon of black peppercorns, 2 teaspoons of coriander seeds, 2 teaspoons of cumin seeds, cumin, 4 teaspoons, that's a tablespoon plus a teaspoon of paprika, and 2 teaspoons of onion powder, 2 teaspoons of garlic powder, and a ½ teaspoon of cayenne pepper. And last but not least, he calls for, it'll be a ½ teaspoon of ground nutmeg. This is nutmeg, and this is my, so I'm just going to eyeball this, about a ½ teaspoon of nutmeg. If you ever watch Alton Brown's programs, he always jokes, he says, I always carry a nutmeg in my pocket. Never know when you'll need it. So, Okay, that looks like about a half teaspoon there. And put the lid on. Oops. Helps if you plug it in. And buzz that up. Nice and fine. The French call this mise en place, everything in its place. And that looks pretty well ground up. And this into there. A couple of sheets of paper folded in half. And one of those shakers you see at the pizza parlor. Take and put that into your pizza shaker. You know, I'm going to make up another half batch of that because I like a lot of rub.
Jeffrey, I don't.
Okay, to save time, I'm just going to show. I cut the ribs in half due to the configuration of my smoker. This will allow them to fit. I don't have a very big smoker, but we're going to take a paper towel, dry off both sides. Okay. I'm going to start on the concave side. Oops. Back on that side off. Okay. And then, you rinse my fingers here. Use one of our cups. Using kosher salt here. Salt these up really good. And then we'll use Grey Poupon mustard, just a thin layer. And use a brush. I'll probably need a little, oops, that's the dried crap from inside the cap. Just use a small amount of mustard, spread that around. Get it on the sides. If you get this on there too thick, it'll almost start flaking off. It's going to help hold the rub once we put the rub on there. Okay. Take your rub mixture. Sprinkle that on and don't be prissy. Okay, then you want to do that concave side first because it'll help keep it from sticking onto the countertop. We'll do the same thing to this side and then I'll do the rest of the ribs. Okay, we have our ribs all mustarded and spiced up. Got the rack ready to go right here. Very gently. Try not to smear or rub off of it. Put these onto your rack. If you can, try to keep them from touching. Oops, I rubbed a little off right there. Oh well. This will allow the heat and the smoke to Kind of get in between. Okay, I'll get the other rack ready to go. We'll take these out to the smoker, and I'm going to take these at least 5 hours. Okay, I got those going in the smoker. Using hickory today. Fill up the smoke box, chip box. Put it onto there. And a water tray full. This will go right. Oops. That's all the way in there. There we go. And that will go right there. And sit right there. And we will let those smoke away for 5 hours. But every hour and a half, I will come out and change out the chips. It's been a couple of hours, so we're going to take and change out, put fresh chips in there. Don't throw the chips in the garbage. You don't want to burn your garbage can. The door shut as much as you can. Up. Some fresh chips in here. Right in there. And we'll let those go a few more hours. These ribs have been smoking for quite a while. That one there kind of touched the rib in front of it, so it didn't get as dark. Don't those look good? Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. And I'm going to eat a rib. Have a good night from the Renville County Planter.